The last thing my husband said before he killed me was, "You should have stayed obedient." Then he watched me fall from the balcony while his mistress cried fake tears behind him. Hi, this is Blue Book Romance. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more romance stories. I remember the sound more than the pain. The wind, the crack, and Adrian Vale staring down at my broken body like I was nothing more than a stain he finally cleaned up. The funny thing is, I loved him once. Enough to destroy myself for him. Enough to ignore every warning sign. Enough to die for him. Literally. But death, apparently, wasn't the end for me. Because when I opened my eyes again, I was back 3 years earlier. Back before the wedding. Back before the betrayal. Back before I became Mrs. Adrian Vale. I woke up gasping in my old bedroom, tangled in silk sheets, my chest heaving like I'd run miles. Sunlight streamed through the curtains. My phone buzzed beside me. I grabbed it with shaking hands. April 14th. 3 years ago. My stomach twisted violently. No way. I stumbled toward the mirror. No bruises. No hollow eyes. No sadness carved into my face after years of emotional starvation. I looked 22 again. Alive again. A knock sounded at the door before my mother peeked inside. "Hurry downstairs," she said excitedly. "Adrian's family is here." My blood turned cold. Adrian. The man who married me for my inheritance. The man who slowly isolated me from everyone I loved. The man who pushed me off a balcony while his pregnant mistress watched. I nearly vomited. But then another memory surfaced. Someone else. A quiet man standing at the edge of our wedding reception while everyone celebrated Adrian and me. Lucien Vale. Adrian's half-brother. The illegitimate son nobody talked about. In my first life, Lucien barely spoke to anyone. The family treated him like dirt because his mother had been a housemaid. But I remembered something now that I hadn't understood back then. At my funeral, Lucien was the only person who looked angry instead of sad. I went downstairs slowly, forcing myself to breathe. The Vale family sat in the living room. And there he was. Adrian. Still handsome. Still charming. Still wearing that gentle smile that fooled everyone. The moment he saw me, his eyes softened. In another life, that look made my heart race. Now it made my skin crawl. "Lena," he said warmly, standing up. "You look beautiful." I almost laughed, because this man had once wrapped his hands around my throat while whispering that I was useless. "Thank you," I replied calmly. Then my gaze shifted past him. Lucien stood near the window in a black suit, silent and detached. Unlike Adrian, he wasn't effortlessly charming. He looked dangerous in a quieter way. Sharp jaw, cold gray eyes, hands tucked into his pockets like he wanted no part in the gathering. When our eyes met, something strange flickered across his face. Recognition. Like somehow. No. Impossible. Dinner was unbearable. Adrian kept touching my hand. My parents kept smiling. And I sat there remembering how his mistress, Sophia, used to wear my jewelry after sneaking out of his room. I excused myself halfway, through dessert. I needed air before I grabbed a knife. Outside, the garden was quiet except for footsteps behind me. I turned, expecting Adrian. Instead, it was Lucien. He stopped a few feet away, watching me carefully. "You look terrified," he said. His voice was deeper than I remembered. "I'm fine." "You're lying." I stiffened. In my first life, nobody ever noticed when I lied. Lucien leaned against the stone railing. "You've been staring at Adrian all night like you want to kill him." My heart nearly stopped. I forced out a laugh. "That's dramatic." "Is it?" The way he looked at me made me uneasy. Too observant. Too knowing. Then he said quietly, "What did he do to you?" The question shattered something inside me. Because nobody asked me that in my first life. Not once. Everyone asked what was wrong with me. Why I changed. Why I became quieter. Why I stopped smiling. But nobody asked what Adrian had done. I swallowed hard. "You wouldn't believe me." Lucien's expression darkened. "Try me." For one insane second, I almost told him everything. The affair. The manipulation. The murder. Instead I whispered, I don't want to marry your brother. He stared at me for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled slightly. Good. I blinked. What? You shouldn't. Before I could answer, Adrian appeared behind us. His smile tightened when he saw Lucien standing close to me. Brother, Adrian said coldly. Lucien straightened lazily. Adrian. The tension between them was instant. Sharp. Ugly. I remembered hearing rumors in my first life that the brothers hated each other. Now I understood why. Adrian looked at me possessively. Lena, everyone's looking for you. I stepped away from him instinctively. His eyes narrowed slightly. He noticed. Adrian always noticed. That night I made my decision. I wasn't going to survive by running away. Men like Adrian didn't let people leave peacefully. No. This time I needed power. And there was only one person who could stand against him. Adrian Vale. The next morning I went to his office. Unlike Adrian's luxurious company floor, Lucien's office was simple and quiet. He looked surprised when I entered. You came. I need a favor. His gray eyes studied me carefully. What kind of favor? I took a deep breath. Then I said the craziest thing I'd ever said in both my lives. Marry me. Silence. Lucien stared at me like he thought he misheard. You're engaged to my brother. Not anymore. And why exactly do you want to marry me? Because your brother murdered me. Because your family destroyed me. Because somehow you were the only person who mourned me honestly. But I couldn't say any of that. So I answered truthfully, in the only way I could. Because I think you'll protect me. Something shifted in his expression. Not pity. Not amusement. Something softer. Dangerous in its own way. Lucien stood slowly and walked toward me. Do you know what people say about me? Yes. That I'm cruel. I don't care. That I destroy people who betray me. Good. He stopped directly in front of me, close enough that my pulse stumbled. You're serious? I am. For the first time, Lucien smiled fully. And unlike Adrian's practiced charm, this smile felt real. Terrifyingly real. All right then, he said quietly. Let's ruin my brother's life. If I had known how easily a man like Adrian Vale could change the entire direction of my life, I would have married him in my first timeline just to spite Adrian. But in this second life, I didn't have the luxury of hesitation. Because Adrian was already watching me differently. Like he could sense I was slipping out of his control. And men like him don't lose control quietly. Our engagement was officially called off within a week. Not by me, by him. Adrian showed up at my house with flowers, a soft voice, and eyes that looked almost hurt. I don't understand what changed, he said, sitting across from me like we were still playing house. I almost laughed, because in my last life, that exact tone was used right before he strangled my independence piece by piece. I just don't think we're compatible, I said calmly. His smile twitched. You're being influenced, he said quietly. My fingers tightened around my cup. There it was. The first crack. Adrian always blamed outside forces when he was losing. Not me. Never me. By who? I asked innocently. His eyes darkened. Lucien. Of course. I leaned back. That's ridiculous. But Adrian wasn't stupid. Just entitled. And dangerous in the way a man becomes dangerous, when he realizes the toy he owns is starting to breathe on its own. That night, I signed the marriage papers with Adrian Vale. No grand wedding. No press. Just a private legal ceremony in a cold office with a single witness who looked mildly entertained by the entire situation. Lucien slid the ring onto my finger like it was a business transaction. You're shaking, he noted. I'm fine. You keep saying that. I didn't answer. Because I wasn't shaking from fear. I was shaking from the fact that, for the first time since my rebirth, I felt safe enough to feel anything else. Lucien wasn't like Adrian. He didn't pretend. He didn't charm. He didn't lie unless necessary. And when he looked at me, it wasn't like I was something he owned. It was like I was something he was still deciding whether to trust. That was new. That was terrifying. And somehow it was better. The war started quietly. Not with violence. With business. Lucien began pulling Vale Company assets out from under Adrian's influence. Board members switched loyalties. Contracts vanished overnight. Adrian, used to winning through charm and inheritance status, started losing ground for the first time in his life. And he hated it. Then Sophia appeared, his mistress. In my first life, she was quiet, soft-spoken, always looking at me like she was sorry. In this life, I recognized her immediately for what she was. A parasite who thought she could upgrade her host. She cornered me outside a charity event, heels clicking aggressively. "You think marrying Lucien makes you untouchable?" she whispered. I tilted my head. "I don't think that at all." She smiled sharply. "Adrian still loves you, you know." That made me pause. Then I laughed. Really laughed this time. Because in my first life, I had begged for that love. Starved for it. Killed for it. Now it sounded like a joke. "He loves control," I corrected. "Not me." Her expression flickered. That was all I needed. Because the truth always unsettles people more than insults. A week later, Sophia made her mistake. She tried to send falsified documents to Lucien's company to frame me for financial fraud. In my first life, it would have worked. Adrian always said I was too emotional for business. Lucien, however, didn't even look surprised. He handed the file to his lawyer and said only one thing. "Interesting attempt." That night, I found him in his study. "You knew she would do it," I said. He didn't look up from his papers. "Yes." "And you let her?" "Yes." I frowned. "Why?" Lucien finally looked at me. "Because now Adrian is desperate enough to stop pretending." Something cold settled in my stomach. "What does that mean?" Lucien leaned back slightly. "It means he'll make a mistake I can't protect you from unless I know what he's willing to do." That was the moment I understood him. Lucien didn't just want revenge. He wanted certainty. And Adrian Vale was becoming predictable, exactly like he had in my first life. 2 days later, Adrian invited me to dinner. Alone. Lucien didn't stop me. He only said, "If he tries anything, don't hesitate." I didn't ask what he meant, because I already knew. Adrian's family estate was exactly the same as I remembered from my last life. Too beautiful, too quiet, too staged. He greeted me at the door like nothing had changed, like I hadn't left him, like I hadn't died. "You look tired," he said gently. "I'm fine," I replied automatically. Habit. Old habit. We sat in the dining room. Candles lit. Wine poured. Perfectly rehearsed normalcy. Then Adrian sighed. "I know about Lucien." I froze slightly. He watched me carefully. "You think he cares about you?" he asked softly. I stayed silent. Adrian smiled. That familiar, poisonous smile. "He doesn't. He's using you to get to me." I set my glass down. "I know." That surprised him. He leaned forward. "Then why stay with him?" I looked at him for a long moment. Then I said the truth. "Because I died for choosing you once." Silence. The air changed instantly. Adrian's expression shifted. Not confusion. Not sadness. Recognition. "Oh," he said quietly. And just like that, I knew. He understood. Not everything, but enough. His mask slipped. Just for a second. "I should have made it painless," he murmured. My heart stopped. So it hadn't been an accident in my first life. I stood slowly. "You killed me." Adrian sighed like I was being dramatic. "You were going to ruin everything," he said simply. I had no choice. There it was. The truth. Clean. Simple. Monstrous. The door behind me opened. Lucien stepped in. No hesitation. No emotion. Just cold inevitability. Adrian didn't even look surprised. "So," Adrian said, leaning back, "this is the part where you kill me?" Lucien walked forward. I considered it. I swallowed hard. Adrian smiled faintly at me. "You see? He's no better." Lucien stopped beside me, then said quietly, "No," and handed a folder to Adrian. Adrian frowned and opened it. As he read, his face slowly drained of color. Bank accounts. Evidence. Witness statements. Sophia's confession. And one final thing. A recording. Adrian's own voice. Admitting everything. Planning everything.
Even my death.
I hadn't seen Lucien record it. Adrian looked up sharply. You. Lucien cut him off. I don't need to kill you, he said calmly. You already did enough to destroy yourself. Police sirens echoed faintly outside. Adrian stood slowly, realizing too late. You think this ends here? He whispered. I stepped forward. For the first time.
I already ended it, I said.
He looked at me like he was seeing a ghost. Maybe he was. Because I had died once for him. I wasn't doing it again. When they took him away that night, he didn't fight. He just stared at me, like he couldn't understand how the thing he broke had learned to stand up again. Afterwards, the house was quiet. Lucien stood near the window. I stood beside him. Neither of us spoke for a while. Then I asked quietly, was any of this real for you? He didn't answer immediately. Then, yes. Simple. Honest. I nodded. That's dangerous, I said. Lucien glanced at me. So are you. A pause. Then, for the first time in either of my lives, I smiled without fear. Good, I said. Then we match. And in that second life, built from death, betrayal, and revenge, I finally understood something I never had before. Love doesn't always save you, but sometimes the right kind of love helps you survive long enough to save yourself.